Hello, today we are going to talk about a course, Economic and Financial Administration, and the module that we are going to talk about, that's the Tax Administration in India. The subject coordinator of this module is Professor I. Ramagramam, and the paper coordinator is Professor Sanjeev Kumar Mahajan from Himachal Pradesh University, is Professor in Public Administration, and content writer is Dr. Anupma Puri Mahajan, and myself, Professor Mamta Mukta, Professor Public Administration in HP University, is going to present this module for you. That is the Tax Administration in India. Tax administration. Tax can be defined as the imposition of financial charge or other levy upon a taxpayer by a state or other functional equivalent of the state. Actually, the tax word, it originated from the Latin word taxo, and the Latin word here means that I estimate. A tax may be defined as the compulsory contribution of the wealth of a person or body of a person for the service of the public powers, and failures to do so, it's punishable by the law. It means that tax that's going to be imposed by the authority that has been, allowed to tax. That's it can be a government, it can be authorized to impose the tax, and the tax generally is given by the people, the subjects. When the tax is given, why? Because the government gives them the certain facilities, the welfare work, the certain facilities. In lieu of that, government can take taxes, and that's why taxes are also very, very important. And when the taxes they are given to the government, so the money that has been collected to the taxes, that government moves ahead and do the various development activities, and that makes a state a welfare state. And then when we talk about the taxation, taxation is the act of laying a tax or of imposition of tax as on the subjects of the state by the government, or on the members of a corporation or company by the proper authority by raising the revenue. So we can say both tax and the taxation, they are very, very important in the financial administration, because it's on the basis of the taxes those have been collected. Government started activities. Government started various activities, the welfare functions, various development functions, and these development that makes a country strong. And if the more taxes the government has, the revenue portion is strong, and if the revenue portion is strong, government can think about moving ahead in the process of making the country strong. Then another thing, that is the purpose of taxation. Why the government impose the tax? Why there's a need of the tax? That's a very, very relevant question. Of course, the taxation, it's required. First thing, that why it is required? To give the pace to the economic development. More tax the government has, more the government think about to move or to work ahead in the direction of the economic development. That is, the pace of the economic development depends upon the tax those have been collected. Second one is the improvement of different sectors, that government can focus that this is the particular sector that needs more attention. Accordingly, government can direct the revenue or the income on that particular sector. It can maintain a sort of balance. And third one is the redistribution of the income. There are different people in the country. Some people, they are quite rich, and other people, they are quite poor. And through the income tax, especially when we talk about the progressive tax according to the income, more tax. That is called the progressive tax. When the tax is progressive, then those people who have more income, their income can be deducted in the form of the tax, and it can be used for those people who have less income. That is called why that taxation. The purpose is there is a need. It can be used for redistribution of the income. Then correction of externalities. That is also another purpose of the budgeting is there. Correction of externalities. Sometimes there is a failure in the market that affects the economic conditions, but the taxation, if it is proper taxation is there, it can also put a check upon this. And moreover, the social welfare activities of the government, it can be more focused through the taxation process. And then another purpose of taxation is that through the import tax, that when tax is imposed on those items which are going to be imported, then of course, on the one hand, it's going to make the goods quite, their price is going to increase. But on the other hand, those industries which are the indigenous industries, they will not suffer, they will be promoted side by side. So when we talk about the import and export tax, along with that should be kept into consonance with the indigenous industries. So that's another purpose of the taxation, that is to import the tax. Then what is the tax structure in our country? Tax structure in the country, we know that tax structure in the India, it is divided into the two component. We can talk about the taxes. They are of two types. One is the direct tax and another one is the indirect tax. Direct tax are like the income tax, and indirect taxes, for example, like custom duty. Direct taxes are those taxes that are not shifted, that is the incidence of which falls on the persons who pays them to the government. We know that in our constitution, article 265 it is there, and article 265 it has been written that each tax levied or collected has to be backed by an accompanying law that has been passed by the parliament or the state legislature. So without the legislature or parliament concurrence, no tax can be levied. And when we talk about the direct taxes, they are of various types. The one direct tax that I'm going to talk about, that is the wealth tax. The more a person has the wealth, more tax he has to pay. And when we calculate the tax of the wealth tax, it is wealth taxes according to the market value. It is also very, very important. If the market value of a particular wealth or particular property is quite high, accordingly the tax that's going to be paid on that particular property, it's going to be high. So we can say wealth tax, it is also known as the Wealth Tax Act of 1957. This tax is applicable to the citizens of our country. Another direct tax that is there, that is the corporate income tax. This is another kind of direct tax in India, and it is divided in various different forms in India. That is, corporate income tax is primarily meant to be paid by the domestic corporations, and those foreign corporations, those are also there in our country. They are also going to pay this domestic income tax. Then corporate income tax. Third one is the personal income tax. This is the most common form of the tax, that is the personal income that a person has, and that on that particular person income that a person pays the income tax, and that is another tax. And we can see that this year budget also the tax slab has been raised, and every people, those especially those who are earning, and that has been raised till the 3 lakhs this year in 2017. So we can say that it is based upon the personal income of the individual. The three direct taxes we have talked about. We have talked about the direct tax, and another form of tax, that is the indirect tax. Indirect tax, that's the types of indirect tax that comes here. That is the sale tax, custom duties, that is the indirect tax. Sale tax is the tax levied by the state government on the goods bought and sold in the country. On the sale of the goods, that is there, sale tax is there. And custom duties. Custom duty, it is also another indirect tax. Custom duty, they were introduced in India through the Custom Act of 1962. This duty was aimed of checking the illegal export and import of the goods. That's why custom department, we are aware of this, that custom department see all these things into practice. We have for the direct taxes, we have Central Board of Direct Taxes that looks into the matters of the direct taxes, and we have the Central Board of Excise and Custom that looks into the matter of the indirect taxes. The second that is department, that is this, previously there was one department, the Revenue Department, and this Revenue Department, it was break up into the two particular department. One was the Central Board of Direct Taxes, another was the Central Board of Excise and Custom. The Central Board of Excise and Custom function is the policy formulation with respect to the collection of the custom, collection of the excise duty, central excise, narcotics, and all these things, they are taken into consideration by the Central Board of Excise and Custom. It makes the policies regarding the levying and the collection of the customs and excise duties, and it also makes sure that taxes on out of India as well as the domestic travel are imposed according to the law. Ultimately, that one thing that the custom people, they have to take into consideration, that they have to see that the custom duty and the excise duty are going to be levied upon the goods those are imported. That because it's very, very important. Otherwise, if there's a failure at this particular level, the indigenous industry, they are going to suffer because of this. And when we talk about the these taxes, we should also think that there are certain principles of taxation. Those are very, very important. What are the principles of taxations? Principles of taxations, Adam Smith, they have talked about these principles of taxation. First principle is the canon of equity. Every person should pay to the government depending upon his ability to pay. Those who have more ability, those who can pay more, those who earn more, they should pay more. And those who have income less, those who earn less, they have to pay less. That is equity. That is the canon of equity. Then canon of certainty. That it should be tax, how much tax I have to pay. Till what particular date I have to pay the tax, to whom I have to pay the tax. Everything should be crystal clear so that there is no confusion. That is the principle of certainty. Whom to pay, what to pay, when to pay, how to pay. It should be clear. That is canon of certainty. Then canon of convenience. The mode and timing of the payment should be as far as possible convenient. Convenience of the taxpayer is also very, very important. Ultimately, taxpayer is paying the tax. Their convenience, that makes the tax system strong. So another principle that makes the taxation good taxation, that is the canon of convenience. Then canon of efficiency. It is also another principle of the taxation, that tax must be planned in such a way that it should not be like a burden upon the individual. Of course, on the one hand, this tax is adding to the treasury, but on the one hand, it's going to help the state government, but on the central government. But on the other hand, it should not be act as a burden upon the common people. The person who is giving the tax, he should feel comfort also. He should not take it as a burden. That is another principle of the taxation. And when the tax is framed, tax should be as a percentage of GDP. Degree of taxation must be clearly stated as a percentage of gross domestic product. That also makes taxation a good taxation. And there should be tax simplification and stability. Tax legislation should be such that they should be simple, they should be accessible, and they should be stable also. There should be stability in the tax system and tax rules, taxing system, that makes it a good taxation. And then there should be openness, transparency and accountability. The tax policy should be such that they should be transparent, they should be without any bias, without any discretion, and they should be declared in such a way that they should promote on the one hand the business, but on the other hand the tax should not be such that they are going to be misused. The principle of accountability, they should also be followed while making the taxation. And then tax competitiveness. That is also another principle of the taxation, that when we talk about the globalization of the market, globalization scenario, the tax competitiveness is also very, very important, that every nation must make sure that the tax rates are competitive, and its administration that is involved in taxation, that should be people friendly. That should not as a process very cumbersome, very difficult. It should be simple. When the people, they are ready to pay the tax, why the burden should be there that they should feel the inconvenience? It should be simple, it should be competitive, it should be transparent, and it should be accountable. Efficiency, that there should be the efficiency in the tax system. It's the need that this efficiency should be there, so that there should be no delay and no avoidance of the tax should be there, and there should be no tax evasion. If the system functions in such a way, we can say that system, the tax administrative system, that is quite efficient. We were talking about the tax system, and we know that in our country the taxation system is such that despite of the population is so huge, but only 3.70 crore people, they have filed the income tax return this time, that people, they avoid the taxes, and tax evasion, that is also there. Only 24 lakhs people, they have declared that their income is above 10 lakhs per annum. So I don't think so it's like that. More and more people, they have the more income, so we can think that tax avoidance and tax evasion, that is there. First is the tax avoidance. What is this tax avoidance? It's the legal exploration of the tax regime to one's advantage, to try to decrease the sums of tax that have to be paid by the lawful means. We can avoid the taxes. There are certain schemes that when we invest the money in this particular, we are going to get the tax exemption. When we are going to deposit, when we have more money in the GPF, it's in the PPF, in various formats, some sort of incentives are there, but these incentives, they are given the lawfully. Then we can say we are avoiding the tax but in a lawful manner. That is called tax avoidance. And but on the other hand, there is tax evasion. In contrast, the tax evasion implies circumventing the rules, where the taxpayer tries to frustrate legal obligations by hiding income through non-disclosure of the income. Either the taxpayer doesn't disclose that what is the actual income of that person has, or when he disclose the improper one. He disclose the false, declare the income. Then that is called the tax evasion, and that tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance, that is just permitted within the law, but tax evasion, that is, we can say tax evasion, it is just there because when we avoid the tax to be paid. Though we can say that tax administration is there to see all those things, that there is no tax evasion and people, they pay the taxes so that the government revenue or income increases. The function of tax administration is to give the taxpayer the services. The services are given by the tax administration to the common people, to those who are the taxpayer. And then second one is the taxpayer identification and registration number, PAN number. Every taxpayer has got one document, and that is the PAN number. This is the 10-digit number, and through this is the number, identification number, through which the income taxpayer deliberate, discuss and keep in touch with the income tax department. Then collection of the information, that's another the function of the tax administration. Search and seizure survey operations, we come across so many cases and incidents with the search and seizure operations, they are being conducted. And then computerization of the tax administration, every data information relating to the tax that is computerized, and collection of tax and the maintaining their accounts. And the most important when you talk about the taxation, that is the refunding. And most people, they generally complain also that they don't, when the income tax department says that tax has to be paid, they have to follow the rules, regulation, time specific period is there, but when we talk about the refunding, then again there's a problem. The people, they complain they don't get the refund of the tax in the time, but the income tax department also functioning well in this particular direction to make the time bound refunding, that so that people, they don't feel the inconvenience. So on these aspects, the tax administration, they function so that it can function up to the expectations of the common taxpayers. Then now we have the tax information network. The tax information network, it is a repository of nationwide tax related information, and it has been established by the National Security Depository Limited on behalf of Income Tax Department of India. We know that TIN is an initiative of the ITD for the modernization of the current system for the collection of the income tax, for the processing and for the monitoring and accounting of direct taxes using the information technology. We can say when we talk about this TIN has the three subsystems. One is the electronic return acceptance and consolidation system. Another one is the online tax accounting system, and third one is the central PAN ledger generation system. These are the three forms of the subsystems of TIN are there. In the taxation system, I know new things, new innovations, new steps, they have been taken. Tax reforms, they are going on in a very progressive rate, and one of such things, they are ETDS and ETCS. ETDS, these are the third party deduct tax at source out of these payments made that the government then deposit at predetermined bank branches, and the third party when deduct the taxes, that is called ETDS. And all details of the, whether it's the challan, whether it's the deductees, they must be given to the income tax department. And since 2004 and 2005, it has been made mandatory to file the TDS returns. And then comes the ETCS, means at source. The Income Tax Act 1961, Section 206, Clause 6, states that when tax is collected at source by the seller from the buyer, it is named as the TCS, yani ki at source deduction by the third party. Those are the new steps those have been taken in the tax administration. And under the ETCS, electronic filing of the returns of the tax collected at the source scheme 2005, the corporate and the government deductors, they have to pay electronically or physically to the NSDL. That makes it again quite relevant. And when we talk about the tax systems, we also talk about the tax reforms. And a lot of changes have been taken in the tax sector, and various reforms they have been initiated, and one of such reforms, especially in the field of the indirect taxes, that is the GST, goods and services tax. When you talk about the tax system, the GST is also part of that, and I think we must discuss it. It is a destination-based tax on consumption of goods and services. It is proposed to be levied at all stages, all right, from the manufacturing up to the consumption, and with credit of taxes paid at previous stages available as set off. In a nutshell, only value addition will be taxed and burden of tax to be borne by the final consumer. With that intention, GST it was introduced, and purpose of the GST was to avoid the cascading effect of the taxation. That's why this GST was introduced. GST was to prevent this cascadation effect of the tax, and imposition of tax at every stage, that is when different stages I've talked about, whether it's the manufacturing stage, whether it's the transportation stage, and it's the consumer. According to the VAT rules, the sale tax is payable on the aggregation selling price, which includes the SEN VAT. Then there was also shortcomings of the VAT system. That's why the GST was thought of whatever the deficiencies were there in the VAT, they can be overcome by introduction of this GST. And then again, shortfall of the existing SEN VAT, they can also be overcome by this GST. Many taxes like additional custom duty, surcharge, they are not integrated into the SEN VAT, and input tax and services tax set-off are not within reach of the producer and dealers. That's why, we can say that this taxation GST was introduced. GST is a very important innovation that are tax reforms that we are talking about in the present phase in the country. When the GST will be there, the existing taxes that are going to be subsumed under the GST, these taxes will be the taxes currently levied and collected by the central government, will be the central excise duty, duties of excise on the medicinal and the toilet preparations, and additional duties of excise, textile and textile products, additional duties of customs, and then service tax, central surcharge and cess, so far as they relate to the supply of goods and services, and various other state taxes, they will also be subsumed under this GST. Various state taxes like the entertainment tax, purchase tax, entry tax, and then luxury tax, central sale tax, they will also be tax on the lotteries, tax on the gambling, tax on the betting, and state surcharge, state cesses, they will be subsumed under the GST. The status of a tobacco and tobacco product under the GST, they will also be subject to the GST. And then type of the GST to be implemented. Why there's a need of this GST to be implemented, so that there should be the uniformity in the taxation system, that is there. With that consideration into the mind, this GST was introduced. And authority to levy and administer the GST. Central will levy and administer the central GST, and state will levy and administer the state GST, and along with that one will be the IGST, that is Integrated Good and Services Tax set. It will again be administered by the central government. So there will be a three-tier system will be there. Central government will be there, state government will be there, and the local level will also be there in this. And then we can say then good and services taxes, that's going to definitely, it's going to be there. And from the 2017 onwards, in this year, we hope that this GST will be passed and implemented, and it's going to bring the more tax reforms in a more innovative way in the country. Now we are going to talk about the how the tax they are going to be imposed. What is the method of the taxation? When we talk about the methods of the taxation, generally there are three methods of the taxation. First is the progressive taxation. Progressive taxation means progressive tax is imposed to raise the tax rate effectively more than the rate at it was applied. It is characteristics by a more than proportional rise in the tax burden relative to increase in the income. More income, more tax. That is the progressive tax. And another one is the regressive tax. Regressive tax means that in which the base of the taxes increase and tax decreases. It's just opposite to the progressive taxation. One is the progressive taxation and another one is the regressive taxation, and the tax rate decreases when the base increases in this. And third one is the proportional taxation. Proportional taxation, that a proportional tax is levied to fix the tax rate. The tax rate corresponds to the ratio of amount that has to be taxed in proportion to the that amount that is to be taxed. The tax is imposed. That is called the proportion taxation. Then we have talked a lot about the tax system, various that taxation principles, also various types of taxes, direct taxes, indirect taxes. Then we talk about the tax administration, how it functions and what are the expectations from the tax administration. And in the end we are going to conclude about that whatever system that we have talked about, there are certain shortcomings of the tax system in the country. First shortcoming that I'm going to talk about, that is the canon of the justice. We have also talked about that presently in 2017, when the economic survey report it was out, that only 3 crore 70 lakhs people, they have filed their income tax return. It means that people, they are earning less in our country. No, it's not like that. People, they are earning more, but tax evasion is there. I've talked about that. One is the tax avoidance. Of course, tax avoidance is also there, but tax avoidance, it is within the law framework. But when there is tax evasion, it means that something is wrong with the tax system. The tax system of the country is very, very important. If the taxation is good, more and more people, they come forward and pay the taxes. Government, economic conditions improves. Government paying capacity improves. Government can, divert the money for the welfare activities. Development increases. Infrastructure improves a lot, and that's the nature of the hour. So I think that we should think about that. What are certain shortcomings and try to overcome those shortcomings. First shortcoming is the canon of justice. When the tax they are imposed with the intention that regressive tax is going to be imposed. Regressive tax means that base of the income tax will be more and tax will be less. With that, when the regressive tax is imposed, more people who are from the middle class, who are earning less, and they are compelled to pay the taxes. Those who are earning high, of course they can pay the tax without feeling a burden. But when there is a burden upon the middle class, I think the canon of justice that is being disturbed, and that's the biggest shortfall of the shortcoming of the taxation system. Another shortcoming of the taxation system, that is agriculture income that has been kept outside the purview of the income tax. They are big, big people, that big farmers, big horticulturists also, those who are earning the money, but no taxation. When they are earning in so much of money, you have also the right and responsibility to pay back to the government. But since that there is no provision in the income tax, exemptions is there, agriculture is kept outside, so again the tax base that is limited. Third is the complex tax framework. Every year when the income tax form has to be filled up, again a lot of pressure is upon the common citizen. Oh my god, I have to take this time the help of the income tax law and something else. I think the system should be so simple and clear that without taking any help, any assistance from the outside, people should be able to fill the income tax return. More simple, more accessible, more clear the income tax rules are there, the more people they will become user friendly and they will come forward to pay the taxes. The more system the complex is, the people avoid that system. So that's why another problem, that is complex taxation income tax system. That is another shortcoming of the taxation system. And then removal of the tax incentives. Tax incentives are there. When more and more tax incentives are there, sometimes the people, they run after those tax incentives, and sometimes they block the money, they invest the money, and then later on they repent there, why I have invested the money in this. So all these things, they make the taxation again very complicated, and that's not a good sign for the taxation system. And another shortcoming that relates to the taxation, that is the refunding. Generally the people, they again complain that this time when I have to file the income tax, then there is no time limit or exemption is given to me. But when we talk about the refunding, again it takes a lot of time. That's again that in the name of refunding, when the delay is there, the tax administration, it suffers, and people they feel bad about this. That is, the refunding is another shortcoming of the taxation system. And then another is the PAN. The taxpayers, they are less, the people having the PAN, they are less. So there's a need that there's a challenge before the tax administration, that more and more people, they should be kept within the purview of the taxes, especially those who are earning high. But those who are not paying the taxes, their PAN number should be made mandatory, and more tax base should be improved. And then monopolistic power of the tax official, income tax officer, raid is there. The people who are generally, they become afraid of, that person is from the income tax department. Some suspicion is there, that there's a possibility that their monopolistic power, the discretionary power that's in the hand of the tax officials, they are going to misuse it. So that's why if you want the tax administration to be more logical, simple, up to the people expectations, this monopolistic power that is in the hand of the tax official, that needs to be curtailed. Then there's another shortcoming that is there, that is the lack of monitoring and effective supervision upon this income tax department, especially the officials. Of course, the income tax department checks, supervise, monitor the taxpayer. There should be some check upon the income tax officials also, so that they can function, they can use their power. Of course, the most power that's in their hand, they can use their power in the public interest, not to intimidate anyone, not to misuse that power. That's another biggest challenge before the income tax administration. Then decrease in tax revenue due to corruption. When the talk of corruption is there, again it's a big challenge, of course, how to avoid the corruption and involve more and more people, so that black money can be curtailed, they can be checked. The more we are going to work in this direction, the more country is going to progress ahead, the more income it is going to earn, and that's the need of the hour also. So that's the biggest challenge before the tax administration, to curtail the corruption, to check the corruption in the system, so that more and more tax base can be improved, can be broadened, and more income people, they come within this purview and they pay the tax. They should not be some sort of deterrent of the law only. The people should feel the moral responsibility also. It's our duty also to pay for the development of our country. That's the need of the hour. That income tax department, I think that tax administration people should also think in that direction, and sort of workshop seminars and should be organized in this way also, so that people, they are motivated to come forward to pay their taxes. Broadening the tax base. The tax base will be broadened in most of the developed country. The tax base is so strong. The people, they themselves, they voluntarily give the taxes. When the tax is so high, people, they are coming forward voluntarily to pay the taxes. Of course, no one can stop that country to progress ahead. That's the need of the hour in our country also. I think all these shortcomings that we have discussed about, if these can be overcome effectively, we can make our tax system more efficient, more effective, more pro-people, and more development oriented. And with this, I conclude here by that tax is the essence of the development. They play a very important role in the development of the country, and everyone should pay the taxes sincerely and honestly. That's the need of the hour also. Thank you so much.